everybody. So this is a video about twin flame souls. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So this is a video about twin flame souls. I will be speaking a little bit about sacred unions and the aftermath of the sacred union. So I want to thank Ellie Amaya for requesting this video, asking for this video, and reminding me to actually get it out there. So thank you very much. I've done a few videos about twin souls, and I've spoken a little bit about sacred union. So I want to share a little bit more about sacred union. First off, sacred union, once again, doesn't particularly mean that it has to be sexually. It can also be energetically. It could be both at the same time. Well, they are one and the same. Sexual is energetical, energetical is sexual. They are not separate. It's just a bit different how we perceive it sometimes physically. So that's one thing. And again, twin flames, we are reflecting what is going on with the world. There is a lot of unbalance between the feminine and the masculine, and thus those unbalances or those needs for harmonizing, those needs for healing between the masculine and the feminine, those are playing out between twin flame couples. And as we heal those as twin flames between our counterpart, we are healing those aspects within the world. We're healing parts of those aspects or a whole of those aspects, or with many, we are linked with many other twin flame couples around the world, healing a certain disharmony within the relationship or within the balance of the masculine and the feminine energetics, and how they are playing out. And ways they are playing out, for example, is while there's still a divide in science and spirituality, while there's still a divide between the third and fourth dimension, while that hasn't been harmonized yet, while there's still a divide between our mind, our subconscious mind, and our conscious mind, while there is still a divide between masculine and feminine, while there is still a divide between all of those things, structure and non-structure, linear and structural thinking, etc., 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 right? This divide, disharmony between the masculine and feminine is mirrored within everything that we see in all different categories in our life, in all different relationships within our life. So as we are healing those within us as twin flames, we are kind of taking on a harder karma, if you will, by playing that out, and we're healing those situations within our couple, and it is affecting the masses and the collective consciousness. So as souls who are not twin flames, as we are healing them, the souls who are not twin flames, they suddenly have more empathy or understanding for the opposite sex, for their own sex, for spirituality, for science, etc. It affects them. And so when we are speaking about, why is this twin flame relationship so difficult? It is because of that. We've taken on this hard karma to release and to go there, so we can release and pave that path for others that don't have to go through it. So when you are in your most testing moments with your flame, know that you chose for this, that you both chose for this, that you were honored to take on this beautiful mission, and it takes a warrior to go through it. So aho to you. Aho to you, and congratulations that you are doing it. And it isn't pretty. It really can be quite the roller coaster ride, as you know. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Yes, so once again, our twin flames, our counterparts, we are representations of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and the healing that we are doing here is allowing those energies from up above to channel through us and heal on this more material, three-dimensional plane. So as well as we are doing the more material healing over here, and it is affecting this this dimension, it is also affecting and harmonizing higher dimensions. This is a multi-dimensional mission. Yes. So about the union itself. All right, let's see if I can explain this well. So about the union itself, we just spoke about the disharmony between the masculine and the feminine. So the issues that we've been having, to go a little bit down in history, in the last about 10,000 years, we've had the dominant masculine taking over. The 10,000 years before that, it was the feminine. The feminine took over. We hurt the masculine. We took advantage of the masculine. We used the masculine. We violated the masculine, turned them into our slaves, and dominated them in the wrong way, which was a lesson we needed to go through. And that is okay. And now the last 10,000 years, it kind of has been the men rising, taking revenge, whether they know it or not. It's down into cellular memory. And so now it's been a very dominant masculine world where there has not been much space for the feminine. In fact, we've been pushed down because of the horror and pain that we have inflicted on them. So it's quite normal and understandable that they have a lot of fear. So, cover the woman up, no distractions, they cannot hurt us, put them down, and that is fine. That was the balancing of what we as females already did. But now it is time for balancing, and for this balancing period, yes, the feminine has to rise so that the masculine can bow down, and after that we must, as the feminine aspects, bow down once again and give our pardon and our sorry and our forgiveness to the masculine, so that we can step forward and find a balance point. And when we find the balance point between the masculine and the feminine, that's when we can rise up and truly ascend. That is also got to do with the ascension of the world and the event. So coming back to how this relates to the union between the masculine and feminine, some of us as twin flames will notice that one counterpart is more dominant in the beginning than the other, and thus this dominant big energy of our counterpart, or it could be ourselves, of the couple, could be very dominating in the beginning, overpowering even, very masculine or very strong feminine, and the other counterpart couldn't handle this. So there was an imbalance, there was this play. So this whole history I just explained is kind of repeating itself, playing itself out, right? So we have that, and then many of us twin flames have a moment of separation, and some of you may have already come back or not come back to reunite with your twin flame. And if you have not and you still have issues with that, please watch some of my other videos where I explain this is a greater mission than just boy and girl, meet, make love, and House on the Prairie story. This is a mission to help, the planet and frequencies and the ascension. So it will be fruitful to take out that humanoid story and see it more as a celestial or a higher self mission. So we just spoke about the masculine takes over, or one of the counterparts of the twin soul. They were over dominant, they separate, and then when they and if they come back, you may see that the other counterpart, whether the feminine or the dominant this time, will be more dominant because she or he felt over-dominated and now needs to stand his or her ground. And this can happen naturally, unconsciously, without knowing. And thus, that is sort of like a repetition of the history I just mentioned. And now it is time for that balancing. So now it's time to find a sacred union between those two energies that are flowing through us, right? So perhaps perhaps at a moment in time, or perhaps at your third separation and meeting, it'll be all different and unique for your own story and situation. But at the moment that you are ready to meet each other without one dominating the other, and the domination can happen totally, and does happen, as far as I understand, totally unconsciously. We're not coming to hurt the love of our life, our other part of our soul. We came to harmonize them, but we bring with us to this situation all the past, the whole past of the last 20,000 years, all the women, all the men that have lived through the pain and all of these things. So all of that is being expressed through us. It's encoded within our cells, within our DNA. So it is playing out like, the macro from the microcosms. It is beyond us. So knowing that, have compassion for yourself, have compassion, understanding, and kindness for your partner. And yes, we can get really caught up in the humanoid story for a moment and just really be working from our lower chakras. But then there will be a time we can hopefully pull ourselves out of that and see the bigger, more celestial, higher self aspect or situation. Okay, so when we come into this sacred union, then we are coming in balance. One is not dominating the other. We are coming to find that balance spot. So this is the beginning of the dance of this union. So you could say once all of that, what I mentioned, has been balanced out, this is the first step, to sacred union. Or you could say this is the first mini sacred union that is taking place. This has got to do with, as well, it's closely related to the ascension. So as you may have seen my older videos, I am always referring to the Ascension Trinity. So what's happening right now, we have the divine masculine, the divine feminine, played out as twin souls. Let's see, can we see that? Playing out as twin souls, right? And a moment in the beginning of the relationship, we can try to be playing this dominant game, one taking over the other, where we have the dominant masculine, dominant feminine. And we're just trying to, bounce on top of each other. Well, that's not what we're trying to do. We want to get to a balance point. And this is when we start to dance with the divine feminine and masculine. This will be the first octave of the union, a sacred union that is taking place with your counterpart, right? So this is finally meeting at that spot and starting to dance that dance, starting to meet each other heart to heart, mind to mind, in a balanced, respectful way, understanding the difference between the sexes, but the different ways we think, the different ways we feel, the different ways we function, the different ways we even come up with thought, and admiring it, respecting it. That's that point when we start to really dance. And this is connected to dancing with the third dimension and the fourth dimension. So many of you will say, oh, we're already in the fourth dimension. But yes, we have been in the third dimension. We are in and heading towards the fourth dimension, but we need the third and fourth dimension to work together to balance out, because people are living in both still. And only when they are starting to balance, starting to dance, then there will be a sweet moment, a sweet spot when there is that perfect balance moment, the height of that cycle, and then we can ascend. We can ascend to a place beyond the sexes, a place of the fifth dimension. So, to bring it back down, what I have understood and what has been shown to me, that sacred union with our twin flame will take, we will have different or many octaves of it. The first time that you're meeting heart to heart and really having starting off that initial dance, and then there may be different sacred union moments. For some of us just one, for some of us 10, 2, I don't know, we are all unique in our paths, but there will be a final and true sacred union when we have finished that karma, we have fully healed, and that will be the moment when we can truly ascend to the fifth dimension. Because all of the healing, all of the karma, all of the pain, etc., has been dealt with, has been cleared of this planet, right? And then and only then, when that is healed, can we truly collectively, as one, as all twin flames, as all souls, as all people who are ready to ascend, can we truly move into the fifth dimension. So twin flames have a big task. We are here to heal all of that, and it is part of our job, a part of our mission to heal that within us, the feminine, masculine within us, and with our counterpart. And as we are doing that, we are sending out again into the collective consciousness and to the masses. We're sending out that healing, we're sending out that frequency, that they can then engage. Hello, young vessel. That they can then engage into. Okay, so it is a mission and a great responsibility. So please don't give up on your twin flame, and please understand that they're not out there to hurt you, and please understand that they're not trying to be dominant, and please understand that there is so much more moving through them that has got to do with thousands of years of pain and hurt karma. And please understand that your actions hold that same situation. So have love and compassion and understanding for each other. And yes, there will be moments when we just think we're going to go and explode and be nuts, and that's fine. But then hopefully you make that cycle back to the balance point and seeing the big picture. Okay? So then I spoke of the true sacred union. That will be the moment that we can actually, and only then, truly ascend to the fifth dimension. And then I'll speak a little bit about my experience with my first sacred union experience with my twin flame. Just briefly and shortly. So yes, we had that push and pull of one being dominant and then the other being dominant, and the third time we came together. And again, there was 2 weeks of playing this dominancy game, and a lot of twists and turns. But by the end of it, we were able to find this balance point. And in my mind, I thought that we needed to control, or how about make a space that we could get into sacred union, right? For example, let's do meditation and yoga together, and then we will get at a certain height, and then when we put the candles and we put everything in place and the harmonics are right, and then it'll happen. It's like trying to think that through a more materialistic, third dimensional way we could cook it up as if it was a recipe in a cookbook, but it's not. And what I had came to realize in my experience was that when we both just let go and just stopped and just saw each other, and just energetically we weren't trying to be anywhere, be anything, do anything, expect anything, want anything, but we were just truly together. Of course, after all the clearing, karma clearing that we already did, then the energies just took over, and it allowed, if you will, an empty space or an empty canvas for the divine feminine and masculine to naturally start to flow through us without us particularly noticing or invoking it, and the game just unfolded. The union unfolded, and it was a whole day and a half of this unionness, and it was the most beautiful, amazing thing. It was a new octave. It was true balanced dance partners. It was flow. Nothing needed to be said. We flowed as one, even as one organism, if you will, together. And spirit just took over. Our higher selves took over. The divine feminine, the divine masculine took over, because we surrendered, and we didn't try to make it anything, and we didn't try to control the situation, and we didn't. We just really truly surrendered to the energies of it, and it was. I have never, ever, ever felt such a beautiful dance and energetical balance and respectful exchange with any man in my life before. It was truly divine, and it gave me so much love, so much hope, so much understanding, so healing, and we ended up so close, so high, so connected, and we are actually half a world apart, across oceans apart, but I strongly feel him all the time now. I also did before, but now it's leveled up to a different octave, and it's kind of hard to explain. But I know from this point, thanks to this sacred union, that no matter what happens between us, no matter what cycle we are in of a push and pull or clearing more karmic cycle, that we are one. He is not separate, and we will always come together no matter what. So it's okay. So the humanoid story dissolves. It dissolves. And since then, in our personal connecting, a lot has changed, and the way we communicate, the way we understand each other, there is more compassion, love, understanding, wisdom within those actions, more clarity, less unhealthy attachments, and so much more. Yeah. So I hope this answers a little bit what you were asking for. I hope, Eli Amaya, that this answers your question. I hope this video was useful, and have a beautiful journey with your twin flame. For those of you who have not yet connected on a sacred union level, this, I suppose, could be a video of hope. It will all be okay, and it will all resonate. Another reminder, during this period between September and the end of October, a lot of twin flames will be coming into union. Large masses of twin flames around the planet will be coming into the first octave of sacred union. I'm glad you feel better, Alberto. Will be coming into sacred union, and this the coming together of these twin flames again is putting out a frequency of the heart, a frequency of balance of the feminine and masculine, which is pushing forward into our new timeline, into our ascension, and thus is bringing the event closer to this timeline. And I just want to clarify about the event. There is a we are, some may say we are in the event. Yes, the event is a whole process, it's a whole cycle, but there is a certain moment that things switch, a kind of fast forward or peak moment, and that is what I'm referring to when I talk about the specific event. So, anything else on that? I think that is all. Oh yes, and then the reminder of if you are around the planet, again, the 21st is a very important day. 21st flowing into the 22nd is the closing of this cycle since 9/11. I'll talk about it a bit more in a different video, but I wanted to just remind, if you feel the urge, if it resonates with you, then I would recommend to connect. Hello. Hi. If it resonates with you, then please, perhaps you want to create an event around you or a gathering around you where you can gather your soul family. You can invite soul family you don't know yet. You can invite twin flames. What is a religion? Twin flames? This is not a religion. Okay, thank you for your question. So I will specifically clarify right here. Well, let me just finish what I was saying, and then I'll answer that question. So yeah, I just want to invite you guys, if you feel called to connect with your twin flames, soul family on the 21st, and create an event, a gathering. It's a very auspicious day, and it will help move things forward. And I'll talk about it more in a different video. But talk to your guides and your sources. All right. So that's the end of this video. I just got a question from Young, and I'm going to answer that at the end of this video. So if you're interested in listening, you can stay tuned. The question was, is this a religion? And so is this a religion? No, this is not a religion. This is science and spirituality mixed together. I don't know if you are personally religious or not. I could answer, if someone asked me, what religion are you of? I could say I am of all religions and I am of none at the same time. Twin flames is, how to explain? This is a truth that I understand as my own truth of information that I have received from higher realms and dimensions. In my truth and understanding of it, which doesn't have to be anybody else's, and they can make up, their own mind, and they have their own truths, which is perfectly beautiful and great. But in the truth that But the truths that thank you, Alberto. The truth that I understand, this is, kind of what is, and it does relate to science. The more underground scientists and physicists can actually prove this. Of course, they will be scrutinized by everybody and maybe even killed. So the answer is no, and I'm not sharing a religion here. All I am offering is my truths that I have received, and I'm offering people to have an opportunity to find out what their truth is. And that means don't believe a word that I say, don't believe anything that I share, but only go within. I don't know if you meditate, Jung, but a way of meditating, and that is also a non-religious practice, even though some religions use that practice. we can reflect within and find out what our own truth is. So I encourage you to find your own truth and only listen to the things that resonate with you. If something makes sense to you, then think about it, contemplate about it, ask yourself or ask your higher guidance, what that is. All religions were seeded from a one place, from the same truth. And when we come down to these lower realms, we have religions segregated into all these different names, all separated, but they all have the same essence. And some people have used religions to control people or to gain money and conquer and divide and conquer. So that's a sad situation, but the basics of each religion is total truth, as it is total lie at the same time. I have deep respect for all religions. I study them, I love them, I have respect for all my friends who are religious, and I respect those who are totally atheists as well, and those who believe in more of the realms of dimensions, galactic understandings, and energies. And at the end of the day, all of these things are the way we understand, the way we can comprehend a theory, right? To understand the truth of the universe, to understand the real truth of the universe in the highest most place. So when everything, truth was a singularity, one place, it was just light. And then there was just sound. And then there was light and sound, there was frequency. Then came sacred geometry. And then down the splitting way in sacred geometry became duality. Then we had divine masculine and feminine. And then we had all these religions and faces and names, Aphrodite and Thoth and all these aspects as we started to go down. But these are just all aspects of the one truth of the singularity point. I hope I'm making sense and not going too far into complex things right now. I have a really beautiful article that I wrote about this concept, and I will post it on the bottom of this feed when I finish this video. That may give a little bit of enlightenment. Yes, I hope I've answered your question, Jung, and if you have any other questions, I'm very happy to answer. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad that was okay. So, yes, I wish you all a beautiful day. And again, I'm just guiding people to their own truth so each and every person can be their own guide. That's what we need to do. We have to be able to inspire ourselves at some point, be our own muses, be our own gurus, be our own true selves. But sometimes on that journey, we need a little help and a little support from others. Oh, you just got here. Well, I'm just about to leave. Do you have a question for me? And otherwise, I'm off. No question, Roberto? Okay. Okay, bye, Alberto. Bye, everybody. And thank you so much for tuning in. All right. Many blessings. Bye.